Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Michael London Radio, where we're more than just talk. Today's topic, in relation to some of the relationship advice and things that we have been talking about in terms of family, relationships, spouses, partners, all of that stuff, I want to address some interesting ways to keep your love life intact. So we were talking about sometimes there's communicational issues that really create larger problems in relationships. When there's communicational issues and some people fall into that emotional surrogatry, because not everyone is a cheater. So let's make that clear. Not everyone has that type of problem where they just have to be with someone or just have to, have that sexual fling or experience or just be fulfilled constant in that vein. So there are other people who are more into the mature stuff, so to speak, that want to be adults, communicate their issues, talk about their problems, be consoled sometimes. Not because they're going through so much, but because they want that intimacy of communication with whoever they are in relationship with. So let's just get right to it. Let's just get right to it. I want to talk about quick tips to keep your relationship alive and your sex life exciting. So, tip number 1 is to schedule sex. Make love regularly. Keeps both of you feeling wanted and desired. But after the honeymoon phase in your relationship, you already know keeping up with your sexual appetite and your activity and your relationship is going to be very interesting. I say that because people know that the longer you're in a relationship, the less of that takes place. So kind of keep that on the top of your to-do list. The to-do list can become a challenge, so decide in advance when to make love and then just do it. Remind yourself to write in a journal. Get a journal or diaries or on a calendar. Like literally talk about these are days that we set aside to just be intimate with each other, irregardless of our everyday to-day life. So that's that portion. How can I put this one? Because, some Christians have a real issue with this, particularly the leadership, the pastors, bishops, etc. My Bible tells me that the marriage bed is undefiled, meaning what those two people decide to do in that bed is their business. So I think that at some point, religious leaders need to get out of people's bedrooms. Amen, somebody. I think religious leaders need to get out of people's bedrooms, and with all of these do's and don'ts, and where it becomes a problem is when you have wives and husbands who take their fetishes to an extreme place, and then also for those who are alarmed by some things that you're doing or being asked to do, and go and talk about it with others outside of your relationship. That's a big issue. Keep some of that stuff to yourself. I mean, if it's not inflicting you harm and it's not bringing someone else into your bedroom, work that thing out with whoever you're with and stop talking about it outside of that and creating those types of problems. Maybe taking it to one, person alone, because where it becomes an issue is when those things get addressed over the pulpit, and then it brings stresses into other people's relationships, and so forth and so on. I mean, I just want to keep that one short. Update your sex play. Do not keep practicing the same routine. because some people get caught up in a routine and they think that that thing, they mastered something. And I'm speaking more from a male perspective. Update your sex play. Wardrobes. Just like wardrobes need updating, so does your sex life. So you might want to do playful and interesting things. I'm not a fan of toys, but that doesn't exempt someone who needs that in their marriage or whatever. So I wouldn't recommend too much of the drugs or stimulating stuff, because people do all kinds of stuff, and hey, and if that's what you want to do, that's what gets you thriving, then do what you have to do. But there's so many other things, lingerie, doing interesting things to keep it interesting and keep it alive. A more personal thing. Share some of the housework, because that can add stress to your relationship on a serious level. This is number 3, sharing the housework. Some women are doing some of everything, and some men are doing some of everything. In terms of the household and the relationship, what I mean is this. Some women are boggled down with taking care of the children, making sure that they get to school, making sure that there's food cooked, making sure that all of those things go the right way, if that makes any sense. Keeping the house in order, paying the bills and all of that. And then the man is like, look, I done worked all these hours and I'm doing this, and I got to come home and do some other tasks if there are any. And sometimes we get so caught up in our routine that we forget about the other person. So sometimes doing things that will alleviate your mate, your wife or your husband, and show them that, I'm trying to help you alleviate this off of you, to the point where we now can have some time to do it together. That's another good thing. Some of that stuff that you guys do are separate from each other. Do it together, and create that time where you guys can talk and do other things within that time. So, okay, number 4 to keeping the relationship interesting is have a good argument. Some people act like couples do not argue. It's good to have a healthy argument where we can express our differences of opinion and things like that, but make sure that we don't cross boundaries of disrespect, calling each other out each other's name. That's not an argument. That's a verbal fight. That's verbal assault. So I'm just telling you guys, just communicate. Learn to communicate. Even when you are not in agreement, communicate, talk, argue. It's healthy. The 5th thing is make your bedroom a sanctuary for romance. That means, if nothing else, your bedroom should be the most spotless, unblemished, well-kept portion of your home. If no other part happens to be that way, your bedroom should look like a vacation day spa, if you want to call it that. That means setting the tone in so many ways. Sometimes that may include taking the TV out the room, out the bedroom. That may be a big issue, because some of you go jump right into bed, watch TV or whatever, and completely ignore the person you're with. You're so busy trying to catch up on soap operas, catch up on football and basketball games and other things, that you're not even paying your mate no attention. So the bedroom is a sanctuary, and one of 2 things should be taking place in there: sex and sleep. So, excuse me. Make the bedroom that sanctuary. Keep that bedroom clean, because the worst thing that you can do is come home to somewhere that you don't want to really look at or feel uncomfortable with. So if I could say it like this, the clothes all over the place, the perfume bottles, and